What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Breaking news, P's and Q's keep me in new shoes. Javante Tank Davis has pleaded guilty in his hit and run trial this morning. Now, the trial was supposed to take place this morning and go through Saturday. And if he was found guilty on 14 counts, he was facing possible incarceration. But due to the advice of his attorney, he has pleaded guilty for hit and run. Now, the incident took place November of 2020 in his hometown of Baltimore, Maryland. He was in a Lamborghini. He was turned up, obviously, ran a red light. I'm just tripping with the turned up. I don't know what his situation was. Was he in a hurry trying to get somewhere, or was he drunk? I don't know. All I know is he ran a red light and he struck a 2004 Toyota. And thank God nobody was killed. But it was 4 people in the car. 3 people decided to not pursue charges. It was one victim, however, that goes by the name of Jahir Smith, a young lady that was pregnant. She said that Javante Tank Davis looked dead in her eyes when she was asking for help. And another car came through. Him and his female acquaintance jumped in that car and drove off and left her unattended. She did not go along with the other 3 victims, and she decided to pursue charges. And the trial was slated to take place this morning. But Javante Tank Davis has pleaded guilty for hit and run, and he will be sentenced on May 5th. Now, this is some interesting news in regards to his potential matchup for a proposed date of April 15th versus top 5 contender Ryan Garcia. Now, a lot of people have been wondering why it's been taking so long for this fight to be finalized. I done previous videos telling you the reason why this fight is not, well, one of the reasons why this fight has not been finalized is because the PBC is waiting to see what transpires with this hit and run incident. Now that we have clarity on that and he's going to be sentenced May 5th, there's no more hurdles, no more obstacles that should prevent this fight from coming to fruition. Now, he was facing 14 counts, 14 misdemeanor counts. I don't think, it might have been a felony count involved in those 14 counts, but let's just say 14 misdemeanor counts. And if he was found guilty, he could have been incarcerated. Now, back in September, Javante Tank Davis' attorney and prosecutor came to Judge Michelle Finn with a plea deal that will require Javante Tank Davis to do 60 days unsupervised house confinement. The judge, rightly so in my opinion, rejected that deal, because how you gonna have an unsupervised home confinement? Either you got home confinement, either you gotta be back at home at a certain time, you can go out at a certain time, you got to be back home at a certain time, or you don't. That's like a contradiction in itself, talking about unsupervised home confinement. So I understand why the judge rejected that deal. Now, this is just JB Sports' opinion. I believe that Javante Tank Davis is not going to do any jail time. I think he's going to probably get some form of probation, which is going to require home confinement. I don't think he's going to have to be at home at all times, but he's going to have to be back at home at a certain time. He can leave out during the day, but he's going to have to be back at home by 8 o'clock or back at home by 9 o'clock. You know, he's got a lot of things going on. He's a professional boxer. He's got training that he's going to have to be doing. He's got, appearances that he probably got to be doing for his sponsors or whatever the case may be. So he's going to have to, basically be a person that's got to be, out and about taking care of business, with his profession that he's in. So I believe that they will have that type of a home confinement. I don't think he's going to be confined to the house and he can't leave unless it's, some type of family emergency or some kind of personal emergency or something like that. I think he'll be able to come and go as his police, but I think he'll have to be back at a certain time. I think that's going to be the likely sentence for May 5th. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Now, I think worst case scenario, now this female attorney might be like, look here, you ran away and did not call the police. You did not offer aid. You just left them people to fend for themselves after you ran a red light and hit them people. And I got to make a zap out of you for all these other people that's doing these hit and runs, and they might be drunk and they want to leave the scene. I got to make you a example for them type of people that's, that could be a hindrance for them type of people trying to, instead of calling Uber or calling a friend to come pick them up, they take that chance, get behind the wheel when they know they ain't all the way right. They know their mind ain't all the way sharp, due to whatever they done took, drugs or liquor or beer. I got to make an example out of you for those type of people that's thinking like, oh, he got slapped on the wrist. Maybe I'll just take that chance. And my house not that far away. I go and drive home. I'm okay. I'm good. And you really ain't okay. You really ain't good. I got to make an example out of you. If that judge has that line of thinking, then maybe she gives him 30 days in jail. Maybe that's the case. But I believe that's the worst case scenario. I think the likely sentence will be some form of probation with home confinement at a particular time. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, like I just stated earlier. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Now, again, this clears the way for Gervonta Tank Davis to take on Ryan Garcia, but his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, says that there's other obstacles that remain in the way of this mega fight. Now, Golden Boy was throwing cold water on the fire that was burning for this fight to take place when Oscar De La Hoya said, look, the rematch is going to be up under the PBC control. I don't think that's right. I think the rematch, if Ryan Garcia defeats Gervonta Tank Davis in a one-way rematch clause, we believe that Golden Boy Promotions should be the lead promoter, and DAZN should have the broadcast rights to that fight. It shouldn't be back on Showtime and PBC like the first fight, especially if we win. And I believe that Oscar De La Hoya was contradicting himself because, when he fought Sugar Shane Mosley, he was the A side on the first fight that he lost and the second fight that he lost. And they was negotiating a third fight, and he was going to be the A side in the third fight. That's the reason why Sugar Shane Mosley did not sign for that third fight and instead went and fought Winky Wright because he was not happy with being the B side after defeating Oscar De La Hoya the first two fights. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But if Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis cannot come to agreement, the backup plan is for them to take on WBC junior lightweight champion, junior welterweight champion, Regis Prograis. Is that leverage, or is that really a possibility? That remains to be seen. I think it's more of a leverage. And I think if they do fight Ryan Garcia, that will not be his opponent on April 15th. I think he will probably take an interim fight, maybe put Regis Prograis as the co-main event. Regis wins and Ryan wins. That set the stage for him to fight later on in 2023 for Prograis WBC junior welterweight title. I think that's the likely scenario if the Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis fights falls apart. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Follow me on Facebook, Gerard.Briscoe.3551. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports. The man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.